Hi everyone, you can call me Bella. Today I'm starting the 5th book in the Game Changer series. Role model, so excited. Mostly because ILYA ROZANOV is in this book a lot. And as a side character, I love him as a side character. He's great in Heated Rivalry. And he's great in what I've read of The Long Game. I've read like half of The Long Game and then never finished it because I wanted to read the rest of the series. And I'm so excited to see him as a side character. Again, because I saw him in, I've seen him in, what are the other ones? Tough Guy and Common Goal. Obviously, he was in Tough Guy a little bit. He was great in that one. Common Goal, I love that he was hooking up with Shane in that one. That was great. But yeah, I'm so excited. This book is 15 pages longer than the last book. So this is currently the longest one of the series so far. But I don't care because I'm so excited to read this one, and I'm really excited for Grumpy Sunshine because I was gonna say Heated Rivalry is kind of like a Grumpy Sunshine, but they're mostly just they're not Grumpy Sunshine. I don't know what they are, but they're not Grumpy Sunshine. Let's see. And yeah, the rest of them are not Grumpy Sunshine, but I'm excited for Grumpy Sunshine. Plus I know him because he was in the other books. He was in Tough Guy and Common Goal. So he's gonna be great. Can't wait to see him. Don't know who he is yet. I'm gonna learn something about him. But I know Troy Barrett, and I hated him. So now I get a chance to love him. So this is gonna be great, and I'm so excited. So, I'm on page 8 of this book. I have barely started. I've barely gotten into it. And, just found out that Dallas Kent is not a great guy. I knew that, but I'm glad Troy called him out on it. Cause this is messed up. It's a great way to start the 5th book. Yeah, I'm not even a full chapter in, and my favorite part about this book is just ILYA ROZANOV. I'm on page 16. Just ILYA, he doesn't care. What is this? 10 minutes with the puppy. Coach's voice was stern, but his eyes twinkled with amusement. Then we've got work to do. 20. ROZANOV countered. Of course he would. I love him. I'm just gonna cherish him. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get along with the main characters of this book. Okay, I will eventually. I'm gonna stick with what I'm comfortable with right now. ILYA ROZANOV. I'm gonna stick with it. So, I'm on page 148 of this book, and usually I'm, like, upset when characters don't get together yet, because, like, I'm, like, almost halfway. But I'm not even upset, because I love how there's so much tension with this. And basically, right now, it's ILYA ROZANOV. I love this man. He's so great. I love him as a side character. He's great as a main character, but he's so great as a side character. He punched Dallas Kent for saying stuff about Shane, and I'm like, yes, you go. Nobody knows that is your man, but that is your man. You support him. And it's just, I don't know. He's just so sweet. And he knows Troy is gay, but he doesn't, like, tell him, hey, you're gay. He's just like, he's waiting. He's so calm and peaceful, and I love him. And Troy is just, like, he's evolved so much in all of these pages. It's so great. And I think the best part about this is how ILYA knows that Troy likes Harris, and Jen knows that Harris likes Troy. I mean, ILYA also knows that Harris likes Troy, but Harris doesn't know that ILYA knows that Harris likes Troy. So it's so good, and I love it so much because these two guys are such idiots. They keep looking at each other like they love each other, and they're not even together yet, and I'm okay with that. If this was a slow burn, I'd love it. This is so good. This is the funniest book in the series, I think. Just ILYA with his wonderful one-liners. It's so great. I love this book. So I finished Role Model, It is currently midnight, and I finished it finally. It took me, I think this one took me 3 days, just like the last one. It is 330 pages, and I finished it in 3 days. That's pretty dang good. Usually I finish a book in like 2 weeks, so 3 days is pretty good. I loved this book. This is my favorite one in the series. Probably not. Possibly better than Heated Rivalry, but probably not. This book just made me so happy. I've read so many books where, there's just like issue after issue, but everyone was constantly working on themselves to be better, and, it just felt so happy, you know? I don't know. They were just so happy all the time, and they wanted, and Troy, especially Troy, you know, it's about both of them, but it's mainly about like how Troy is becoming his own, how he's not coming to terms with his sexuality because he knows he's gay, how he's gonna come out to the public with that. So, to hopefully quickly summarize the book, Troy is traded to the Ottawa team, which is also ILYA's team currently, because he went from Boston to Ottawa, and now Troy's at Ottawa. Wyatt from the 3rd book is also in Ottawa. So there's a lot of people in Ottawa, and the whole thing about Ottawa is they're a bad team. You know, everyone on the team is good, but they're just not like good together. Like Wyatt's a very good goalie, and Ilya's a very good center, and I think they have a lot of other players that are like really good. But they don't win, but they're okay with that. They're a good team. They just, you know, don't play good. But Troy gets traded to there because Dallas Kent is a douchebag, and he did bad things to women, things I cannot say. He sexually assaulted women, and they called him out on it, and his best friend, Troy Barrett, said, yeah, he probably did those things. I didn't witness it, but I believe the women. I've met this guy. I believe him. And people were not happy with him about that. And so the commissioner had him traded to Ottawa's team to see if he was still useful. And Troy is a very good hockey player. Okay, he's probably up there with Shane, Ilya, and Scott. And yeah, so he's very good. So he goes, and a whole other thing about him is he knows he's gay. He just also knows that he probably shouldn't come out. It is 4 or 5 years, I think, after Scott Hunter has come out. So people are like aware that gay people are in the NHL because Scott is married to Kip. There's, in one of the other books, it said that 2 other hockey players had come out saying that they had husbands, and obviously there's Ryan Price, who came out, or who had already come out, but you know, he has a boyfriend. And there's Eric Bennett, who had retired, and he has a boyfriend. And now we have Troy Barrett. And Troy Barrett has got to have the most emotional growth in a character I have ever read. This man is constantly trying to be better for himself and for Harris, but like especially for himself. Like everything he does, he doesn't do it for Harris. Like that's just an added bonus, is him doing it for Harris. He mostly does things for himself. Like he was like, I want to come out, not because of you, but not because of Harris, but because he genuinely wants to come out. He doesn't want to hide himself anymore. And he's like, well, if Scott Hunter can do it, I can do it. And my whole team knows, and now my mom knows, and you know, he's so happy, and he's like, well, you know, people get upset about me about it, then I'll be fine because the Ottawa team has my back. So no matter what, I'll be fine. And I just think it's just so great that he's just like, I just don't care anymore. You know, it was such a, not a change of pace, but it just felt so good that he was just like, I just don't care. You know, he was like, there was a point where he was like, I think my mom would be okay if I came out. And I know my dad wouldn't, but I don't care. He didn't care because his dad didn't matter enough to him. And I think that is just like, it, you know, it's sad, but at least he realized it, you know, and he wasn't like upset when he was upset that his dad didn't support him, but he wasn't surprised, which I think was the good thing, is that he had already like hyped himself up, and he was already like, well, my dad's probably not gonna accept me, so, you know, it's not gonna bum me out when he doesn't. And I think that was great. And I love their emotional, I love, okay, out of Troy and Harris, I like Troy better just because of how he became happy for Harris. And he was just so great, and he never treated, like, I did think it was a little bit weird that it was constantly like, what if something happens to Harris and Harris's heart? And I kind of wish something did happen so it would like affect more, you know, or like Troy's going to the hospital for Harris, or something happens to Harris, you know. But yeah, I thought it was it was just so great, you know. Back to my summary, because I forgot the summary. So Troy gets traded over to Ottawa, and he doesn't like that he's traded to Ottawa, but he is like, well, I'm going to play this season, and then we'll see where next season takes me, and hopefully I can get traded to a better team. And he meets Harris, and Harris is the social media manager for the Ottawa team. He's very good at his job. And when Troy sees Harris, he's like, damn, that is a fine man. And when Harris sees Troy, he goes, damn, that is a fine man. And so they both like each other. And Troy just, every time he comes to practice, he starts finding himself drifting towards Harris, even though he's like, Harris is loud, but I like that. And it's so cute that Harris is like this loud. There was a lot of tropes that I wish had happened that didn't happen. Like the trope that's like, when the loud person, when the quiet person tells the loud person, oh, I finally got you to shut up. Like, I wanted one of those, but I didn't get it, and that's fine. But I was just kind of like, you know. But it was great. So they realize that they like each other, and then eventually Ilya Rozanov, I love that man. He's in this book the whole time, and he's so great. Every time he showed up, I was like, yeah, okay, I like you. You're right here. You're where I need you to be. But Ilya, you know, he knows everyone. He knows all the queer people in AHL, even if they haven't come out to him yet. He knows. So he's going, and he's he's basically like, you like Harris, and he's like, you know, yeah, but I can't tell you that. You're Ilya Rozanov, you know. But it's whatever. So basically Ilya knows that Troy likes Harris, and Jen, which does photography for Ottawa, and is so a co-worker of Harris. She's like, hey, you like Troy? And he's like, yeah. So Ilya knows that Troy likes Harris, and Jen knows that Harris likes Troy. So they're both like, both of these two like side characters are like, come on, you gotta like, come on, and trying to get it together. And there's a dog in there. I love that dog. Don't remember the dog's name. I think it was Chiron. I don't know. I don't know. Some mythological creature is what he I think was named after. So yeah. And then yeah, so then so they have to go on a trip to they have to go to one of the hockey games, and Harris is coming along for social media. He doesn't go on all the trips, but he went on this one. And their plane crashes. Not really, but like the engine explodes. One of the engines explodes and there's fire. And they are sitting next to each other on the plane, and they are holding hands because they're terrified. I would be too. And then they go down, and everyone ends up being fine. But then they go to, or they're in the hotel, and okay, while they were on the plane, I don't remember how it came up, but while they were on the plane, Harris and Troy were talking, and somehow the topic came up, and Harris was like, "Oh yeah, I love cookie dough ice cream." So Troy left his hotel room in the middle of the night, went to the store, got cookie dough ice cream, came back, went to Harris's hotel room, and then was like, "Hey, I got you cookie dough ice cream." He didn't get himself anything. He just got this man cookie dough ice cream. But then he proceeded to eat it all. Because they were sitting on Harris's bed. And Harris was like, "Oh, this is so good. You want to try it?" And Troy's like, "I guess." So he spoon feeds him. And then he's like, "Wow, that was so good." He's like, "Yeah, you want more?" And Troy's like, "Sure." But he's like, "I probably shouldn't spoon feed him anymore." So he just gives him it. And then he just eats it. And I'm just like, vibe, I guess. But yeah, it's wonderful. Oh, and then they do that, and then they do the do. They have sex, and it's something. It's definitely not one of the best ones that I have read in this series, but it was something. And a lot of stuff other happens. I read this very fast, so all of the stuff kind of, all of the plot points kind of just run together, you know? So then they I don't remember. I just read this. I read this in 3 days, and I don't remember what happened. I remember how I felt. I remember everything that happened. I just don't remember what order it happened, I should say. Harris cheers the team up by going to a beach day. They all go to the beach together. Then they go back home, and they hook up again. And then Troy and Harris are like, Harris invites Troy to go to Fabian's concert. And he's like, "I have this extra ticket if you want to come, And then, in actuality, Harris bought it for Troy, and he just offered him to go, and he's glad that he said yes, They go to the concert, and they have a great time listening to all the music, and Troy knows that Fabian and Ryan are together. Fabian and Ryan Price are together. So he goes up to him because he used to bully this guy when they were on the same team. Sad. So he goes up to him and he's like, "Hey man, I am so sorry. I was a jerk. I was horrible to you. I bullied you so much. I am so sorry." And Ryan's just like, "Okay," and he's like, "So actually, it's no excuse, but I did it because, I'm gay and I was like putting on a mask or whatever, and I'm sorry." And he's like, "Oh, does your friend know?" And he goes, "Harris? No, Dallas. Oh, yeah, Dallas and I aren't friends anymore." So, yeah, that's great. It was great, and I loved it. I love that he apologized, but then I also loved the fact that as soon as Ryan saw Fabian, he was just like, "Okay, I'm gonna go." And I'm just like, as you should, just go and see your boyfriend, please. So, yeah, it was great. It was so cute. And then he went back to Harris, and Harris was like, "Ah, he's back," and it was so cute. Yeah. And then near the end of the book, Troy's like, "I want to come out, I am tired of hiding. I'm tired of everything." Oh, he also, Troy at one point, he gets a call from the commissioner saying, "Hey, we need you." So Troy started an Instagram account for, started an Instagram account for his personal Instagram account and he was supporting, he was like posting stuff about sexual assault, like infographics and stuff like that about it, and he was like, yeah. And so the commissioner calls him and is like, hey, dude, this is not good for Dallas Kent. So, did you see him do it? And he's like, no, I didn't see him do it, but, and he's like, I've heard enough. So actually, I just want you to take everything down, or else. So he doesn't take it down, because he knows that, he's like, I don't want, like, for his first thing was, his first thought in his mind was, it was, I didn't see him do it, or I didn't see him do it, so, like, what if I'm, like, lying? What if this, and then his second thought was, no, I know this guy, I know he did do it. So, it was sad, it's sad, but he did do it, probably. But yeah, so then he gets the call from the commissioner, and then he has, like, a panic attack about it, and Harris has to, like, calm him down about it, but then he has to go, he keeps posting everything, and he goes to he gets called to his coach's office, and his coach is like, hey, so the commissioner called me, and he's like, crap, and he's like, he wants you to take it down, but me and the rest of the team and all of the managers and everything, we all support you on this, okay? So whatever you want to do, we think you should keep it, you know, but it's whatever you want to do. And he's like, well, like, I want to keep it. You guys all have my back. And he's like, yeah, we all have your back. And he's like, okay, then I'm gonna keep it. So it's great. It's happy, for the most part. And then, yeah, it's just these two guys. They're just, like, happy for most of the end of the book, and I was so scared that they were gonna, like, break up or something, and they didn't. It was so great. It was so happy. Yeah. And then they're just, I don't know, they're just happy, and I was just so happy that they were happy for, like, most of the book. But then the coach is like, hey, you know, you need to let people, the HR people, probably HR, people know about your relationship with you and Harris, because I saw you guys smooching in his office. He's like, oh, you saw that? And he's like, yeah. He's like, oh, okay, I'm so sorry. So later he has to tell Harris, hey, Coach saw us smooching in your office. My bad. But at some point, Troy's like, I want to come out to everyone. So first person he came out to was ILYA ROZANOV. Technically, ILYA ROZANOV made him come out to him, kind of, because he was like, hey, I think you're kind of gay. And he's like, yeah, I am. So he is. Like, okay, he didn't say it like that. That sounds like he forced him to come out, and he didn't. He was like, you know, do you like Harris or something like that? And he's like, yeah. And so he came out. It was nice. It was sweet. And then ILYA came out to him, so it works. But yeah, so ILYA was the first person he came out to, and then it was Harris when they hooked up, and then it was the coach, I believe. I think it was the coach, and then it was Harris's family, and then it was Harris's it was Harris's family, and then Troy's mom, and then the team, and then Troy's dad, and then literally everyone else. It was so good. Yeah, every time he came out, I was just like, oh. And I love Harris's family. They're so sweet and everything, and I love Harris's obsession with dogs. It was just so great. It felt so good to read this story, because usually I'm, like, angry at the characters, and the only character I was angry at this entire time was Curtis, who is Troy's dad, and I hated it. And Dallas Kent. Dallas Kent also gets arrested at some point, and I was so happy when he got arrested. Thank God. And then at the end, Ottawa has a Pride night, and they're versing Toronto, but Dallas is arrested, so Dallas doesn't play. And the whole team has rainbow tape on their sticks, and Troy came out with a video that he posted to his Instagram that day, and it's so cute, and he's just, and that's how it ends. And then his mom shows up because she had been traveling, and his mom shows up, and he gives her a big hug, and I'm just like, oh my god, this poor boy who was like sad at the beginning of this book, not sad, but just like grumpy, you know, at the beginning of this book, is now overjoyed. What do I do with this feeling? It was so great, and I'm excited to read The Long Game. I'm really excited because there's a lot of scenes in this that I think are gonna be in The Long Game. Like there's the plane crash, I think is in The Long Game. I've never read The Long Game. I've read like the first chapter, I think, and then I was like, no, I want to read the whole series, and then I want to read this. Because I had read Heated Rivalry, and then I wanted to read the Long Game, but I was like, I'm just gonna read the whole series. So I did. But yeah, so I don't want to leave this, though. I think I said this about Common Goal, too, where I was like, this book is so good, but that book was so good, but I think this book was better, but maybe it's just because I just read this book. But it's so good, and Troy, he develops so good, and Harris doesn't develop, but he has no reason to. I don't know. I liked Harris, but I liked Troy more, but I think it's because he had more development, and he was more interesting, and I liked him more because he was grumpy, and I thought he was the most adorable thing ever. Plus, he was the one who talked to ILYA the most, and I really liked every time ILYA was on my page. I like all of the characters in all of the books. I like ILYA the most, though. But especially when he's in other people's books, because I think it is hilarious. So, yes, okay, so this book, oh shoot, I gotta give it a rating. I'd give it, I gotta give it 4 stars. If I'm going specific, I'd probably give it 4.25. 4.25. I really liked this. I really liked this. I liked this more than I liked Common Goal. The only few flaws I found in it was the smut wasn't very good. But it made it better with the fact that the plot was good. So, sometimes smut can ruin a book. It did not ruin this book. I just did not like it in this book. Anyways, that is my whole review on Role Model. And after this, I'm reading The Long Game. And then I have The Long Game is coming up. Shawshank Redemption is coming up, which just seems like an odd one. And Always the Villain is coming up because that book comes out next Tuesday. And I want to read it as soon as it comes out because it's the 6th book in a series, and I have read the other 5 books, and so this book is finally coming out. So yes, I have a bit, but hopefully I can finish The Long Game by Tuesday because I really want to read Always the Villain as soon as it comes out. Shawshank Redemption should be within the next coming. This video won't be published the next coming days. It should be soon though. And then after that, I think is Rule of Wolves, and then The Princess Bride should be my list. Currently, I have a long list of books to get through. Take it one step at a time, though. I only have so much brain power for so many books. But anyways, those are my upcoming books. I give this a 4.25. Wonderful book. Simplify it to a 4. It's so good. Oh my god, I loved it more than Common Goal. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed my review. If you have any tips, tricks, anything for me, and if you had any notes about the books, let me know.